Your second stimulus check debate heats up as members of Congress go to the battleground. But how much will you receive, and when will you receive it? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today with great, exciting news about the check, especially if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits. Really big confirmations minutes ago. I'm going to get to them right away, and then I'm going to go through the detail later in this message. I also have a personal message for all of you. First, let's get to the check itself and the big 5 confirmations. First, the amount. It clearly appears to be landing at $1,200 one check. 2, the date of delivery. Late August appears to be the focus from all the forces involved. 3, the eligibility appears to stay intact, just like how I've been reporting for days, that anyone who is a dependent would be eligible for the check, unlike the first stimulus package. 4th, this is the big development today. So excited to say this. Gone is that ridiculous $40,000 cap from Mitch McConnell. It would be based upon the same cap as the first stimulus check. All right, so now that I've given you the confirmation elements, let me go to really what is going on. And you have to understand this, because ultimately I don't want you to sit back and say, I'll wait for it to when it lands on my account. I'll deal with that. No, because now we actually have more confirmation from the White House that they're going to deliver the second stimulus check the same way they delivered the first stimulus check. So if you don't do the steps that they're requiring you to do, you won't get the second stimulus check. So that's why it's so important to follow through with what's going on. First, as I've been detailing in recent days, Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell have told news that they were writing up the Republican proposal of the second stimulus package, which includes the second stimulus check, and that they were going to deliver it to press for debut last Monday. Didn't do it on Monday. Didn't do it on Tuesday. Didn't do it on Wednesday. Well, as I'm here recording at about 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday, they still have not delivered it. They claim they're going to deliver it later today. And so all we're going off on is tidbits from Steve Mnuchin about what is going to be in there. But there's a twist. The Republicans fully admit that they are not unified on a lot of these things. So I'm going to go through them and tell you what you need to worry about and what you don't have to worry about. First, the check. You don't have to worry about the check. Everyone is saying that the second stimulus package will have a check. Second, you may have to be on high alert about what you and I have been talking about, which is just get the darn check out, people. Ironically, it's the Republicans who now want to do it. They said today that they don't want to hold up the check and don't want to hold up unemployment benefits at FPUC. They want to get those done in separate bills right now, rather than do everything as a big second stimulus package. Ironically, you like it, I like it, but for the first time, the Democrats don't like it. They said, no, we are not going to do separate bills for everything. We're going to do it as one stimulus package. What do you think? I know you have comments. Drop them below. So that's quite important, because I've said the second stimulus package is a box that has a lot of stuff in it, the check, unemployments. Well, that's the way the Democrats said they were going to do it, and we thought that was the way the Republicans are going to do it. No. Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell today are saying, no, we're not going to do a big, massive bill. We're going to do a lot of single, separate bills. Now, they actually say the reason they're doing it is because there's an urgency of getting these things passed faster, which I think is actually quite great. Next, the issue of how much is the check is really sort of changing very quickly. As you remember, the Democrats proposed a single $1,200 check. The White House, Donald Trump, said he did not agree with $1,200. He wanted to give a lot more. Steve Mnuchin, who is Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary today, said, it's going to be $1,200. Okay, flip-flop number 1. 3, Mitch McConnell said, I'm only going to give you $1,200 if you made less than $40,000. flip-flop number two, Mitch McConnell says, okay, fine, I'll give everyone $1,200 the same way we did it with the first stimulus check. So a lot of flip-flopping, but the good news is everyone's getting a check, and more people than we thought about yesterday. Let's get to that cap, because you ask about it every single day, and I was worried about for you as well. That $40,000 2019 earnings per person that Mitch McConnell wanted to cap the second stimulus check at is apparently going by the wayside. Mitch McConnell has pushed for no stimulus checks for people who made more than $40,000 in 2019. Apparently, Steve Mnuchin doesn't like that. Apparently, the White House doesn't like that. And apparently, most Republicans don't like that. What's happening today, and I'm not going to be partisan, I'm reporting the news, is that the Republicans fully admit that they are very broken up and not unified on what they're going to do with the second stimulus package. Among the issues is Mitch McConnell really was trying to go to the mat for that $40,000 cap, and apparently is not going to hold that ground anymore. So that $40,000 cap is gone. Great news. So what is the cap? The cap is the same as the first stimulus check under the first stimulus package. $75,000 per person, 2019 earnings. And you double that if you are husband and wife joint filers. Great, great news. Next. Dependents will get that check in a second stimulus package. This is also really great news. So my viewers who are SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and you're a dependent on your son or daughter's tax return or someone else's tax return, you're going to get a second stimulus check. Now, I gotta say that one of the groups that I sometimes bash on this channel are news reporters because they don't ask the right question. So they asked Steve Mnuchin, is everything going to be the same with the first stimulus package as the second stimulus package? After Steve Mnuchin just said the eligibilities have been changed, he said, yes, everything's going to be the same. Wait a second. Well, under the first stimulus package, dependents got $500. They didn't get $1,200. Under the second stimulus package that everyone has discussed, including Mnuchin, it is $1,200 to dependents. So is Steve Mnuchin doing $500 for dependents or $1,200 for dependents? It appears that he's doing $1,200 for dependents. But I got to say, the news reporters are not asking the right question. So ultimately, I don't have a clear answer if Steve is really saying $500 or $1,200. It appears he's saying $1,200. So what is going on, and when will we actually see clarity of exactly all these elements? We were supposed to see them by later today, and certainly by the time that this video is uploaded, you may actually see a statement from the Republicans about their second stimulus package, which may be packages. But Senator Richard Shelby, who is an Alabama Republican, who chairs the Senate Appropriations Committee, told News, don't wait for this Mitchonce later today. You're not going to see it till Monday. What's going on? They apparently are not agreeing on their own second stimulus package. The relief package, which is the second stimulus package, could get even more confusing for viewers of this channel because I've been talking about one package. Well, the Republicans are saying there could be multiple packages, says White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and says that the Senate will try to take up first unemployment benefits, which is FPUC, right away, school funding, and then deal with the other issues later. Interesting. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what the White House is proposing, which is if you are a viewer of my FPUC unemployment videos, that would be reassuring. Maybe they're trying not to allow it to lapse. Reality check, and this is from a major news source. A reality check is that a handful of Republicans are still battling over what is going into the second stimulus package. Now, I will fully admit that there are some Republicans out there who don't want to give anything. They literally don't want to give anyone a second stimulus check at all. But I want you to be confident and relaxed and positive because those Republicans are not in the majority. They are very, very few, less than a handful. So they are not going to go there. What is going to be in the Republican proposal for the second stimulus package along with the check? And is the check being held up by something else? Yes. First, There would be an extension of FPUC. The Republicans are proposing a reduction of it. I'll be going over that in the third video today. You got to watch that. That's a big one. Second, there'll be a second round of Paycheck Protection, PPP, which everyone is going to be like rolling their eyes like you and I. Here we go. We're helping big business. We're not helping people again. Kevin O'Leary, the shark, said, stop it with the PPP programs. All you're doing is giving money to big businesses so that they can get a nice check and shut down their doors and retire, which a lot of them are doing. But then here is the big rub. The White House and the Republicans are pushing for a lot of money for schools in the second stimulus package. That could ultimately hold up your check vote, not the check approval, but actually the vote. If it's all put together, there is a new push for $105 billion in educational funds, split $70 billion for K-2, $30 billion for college and universities, $5 billion for governors to use, $16 billion for new testing, $9 billion in use funds, $26 billion for vaccine research, $15.5 billion for NIH, increased flexibility to utilize care funds, liability protections, which again is protecting big business, enhance employee retention tax credit, again enhancing big business, deductions for employer purchases of testing, payroll protection equipment, again helping big business, an increase in business meal deductions to 100% from 50%. Another big kickback from big business. I mean, you read, and I'm not being partisan, I'm being very blunt. Everything that I just read in there, nothing was for you, the individual citizen, except the first line, the stimulus check. So you see what's going on is we're starting to see the debut of the Republicans' proposal for the second stimulus package. And what I want you to understand, that ultimately they are not the determining force of what will be in the second stimulus package. It has to go to a vote. The two bills, the Republicans and the Democrats, are merged together. It is seen together as one force. So it's not like there's one bill and one bill only. That vote will start coming in later July. Now, what are the Democrats saying? They are saying, absolutely, we are not going to piecemeal. That's their own words. We are not going to piecemeal and do just separate bills on separate things. I ironically don't agree with that. I think the second stimulus check should be done right away. I think that there should be multiple checks. I think that there are proposals still on the books for multiple checks. So let's debate that as a separate bill. And let's do unemployment benefits, which are expired or have expired days ago. And I'm going to go over that in the other video. Let's do this right away. There's an urgency. We don't have an urgency about giving Harvard University, $100 million to improve their cafeteria entrance door. I mean, we don't need to do that now. We need to do you, the American public, being able to pay rent, utilities, making your ends meet. Then there's everything else. What's happening with the payroll tax deduction? Again, for big business, that's going nowhere, apparently. Donald Trump has said that he would not sign a second stimulus check bill or stimulus package bill or bills unless it had a payroll deduction. Republicans apparently don't agree upon it either. They don't want it. Again, this is for big business. Then we have McConnell saying that he is going to really go to the floor on the Senate and say, let's do multiple bills one at a time. Ultimately, I really can't tell you the likelihood of whether these second stimulus packages are going to be parsed out as separate bills. But where are we now? Right now, we do have a Democratic HEROES Act bill that calls for one $1,200 check. We have other Democrats that have introduced other bills that call for a $2,000 check every month for 6 months. We have Steve Mnuchin saying one $1,200 check, and we have Mitch McConnell agreeing for one $1,200 check, but we don't have their bill or their package yet. The good news is we finally have some big clarity. There will be a check. If you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits, listen up right now. The manner of the delivery of the check appears as going to track exactly what happened with CARES Act 1, the first stimulus package. Steve Mnuchin was asked that question point blank, which is so important because it's you, the viewer of this channel. How will people get their check? He says it's the same way the first stimulus package is. So if you're watching this video and you are on benefits and you are a new viewer, you got to pull out a pen and paper right now. Right now, please pull out pen and paper, because you got to know these things. 1, are you a dependent on someone else's tax return? 2, did you file a tax return last year or 2019 tax return? 3, if you're on someone else's tax return, how many other dependents are on that tax return? You need to know these answers because, a 4th, are you newly on benefits this year? Ultimately, Mnuchin is giving a warning signal to everyone that's watching this channel that if you newly went on benefits this year, if you have not filed a 2019 tax return, you will have to file a non-filer with the IRS if you've not done it and you never got your first stimulus check. If you don't do that, you're not going to get your second stimulus check. Please don't sit back and say, I will do nothing and I'll just put my feet up and wait for my check to come. Because if you don't do it, you're not going to get your check. I don't want that to happen. I want those viewers who are eligible to get their check, and I want you to just do something that you're required to do. Ultimately, we don't know that requirement exactly yet, but I want you to be on high alert that if that is you, you may have to do it. Again, if you newly went on benefits this year, you did not file 2019 tax returns, you need to do that. Next, if you are a dependent on someone else's tax return, you need to know how many dependents are on that tax return, because the second stimulus package proposals only pay up to 3 dependents. If there's a 4th dependent, the 4th doesn't get paid. I didn't write the bill. I didn't propose the bill. Ultimately, the situation is still very fluid. Things can change with the wind. The Republicans fully admit that they are not unified on a lot of stuff. So the cap could flip, but it looks like it won't. Finally, a personal message. I want to thank all the viewers of this channel for being such a wonderful family. We have stayed so positive, stayed so informed, so educated. This channel is about to pass 100,000 subscribers. I don't think that it has ever been done in the history of YouTube that one channel in less than 100 days has gone from 0 to 100,000 followers. I really appreciate your patronage. This has been a pandemic that no one would have ever anticipated. It's been very difficult on a lot of you. A lot of you have lost your home, your utilities, you don't have money on the table. And so your spirit and positivity with me, I can feel through the camera, and I've hopefully delivered that positivity back to you. The next couple of weeks is going to be really quite a roller coaster of a lot of chatter from those Republicans and Democrats. Ultimately, I want to ensure that you get your check, and if you're eligible, that it lands in your bank account and you say, thank you, LALATE, we got through this. And I want you to understand one last thing. This really won't be the last check. No one thinks it's going to be the last check if this pandemic goes to February or March or April of next year. So in that regards, stay positive, stay motivated, stay focused, stay educated, and keep smiling. Later today, we answer your questions about SSDI and SSI and the second stimulus check. And stay with LA for more.